Under the same roof, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. And now do we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. Today, we have quite the show in store. We have Mama Flips with us to talk about two very important cases that are happening, that are developing as we speak. In fact, with Carmelo Anthony, court will still be happening tomorrow. I want to welcome Mama Flips. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for welcoming. Hope everything is well.
Yes, indeed. How are you?
I'm okay.
So what do you think about all of the stories floating around with Carmelo Anthony?
Well, I'm very happy that judge was recused. I said it several times that I felt that the judge on the case was the wrong judge. I felt that the judge on the case actually uh, set up Kamala Anthony. I thought that he was completely biased and should not have been part of the case at all. The way that he railroaded that whole court to make sure that Kamala Anthony get the highest sentence, and then after that, having the nerve to actually not only instructed juries with the wrong set of charges. He didn't allow, for example, because we on social media, manslaughter, right? He didn't allow that. And then after that, he actually was able to give a sentence within 7 hours, and then actually have him taken to the actual facility where he's going to spend his time. It was just way too much. And then after that, he had an interview. My biggest issue, besides everything I heard about the court, was his interview after the fact, where he was sort of gloating and saying like he did a big one for the community to get rid of this young black male. And I'm just glad that he was recused. I thought that was the most amazing thing. I am hearing about the gentleman, so-called gentleman agreement that's been going on, that has been brought up by all parties. And I've also heard about how the prosecutor really tried to drag Kamala Anthony to make him be the worst person. But at the end of the day, we're hearing both sides, right? We're hearing the fact that the brother, and and the one that was on the live, and I don't like to talk about victims, but at least we begin to find out the truth, to hear what actually was going on with him. There is some weird story that I'm hearing. I'm not sure if it's true, that they're alleging that Carmelo Anthony was angry as a result of an ex-girlfriend or something like that. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just hearing a whole lot. I'm just waiting to see what the court decided. But I'm so happy. I think the first step of recusing that judge was the most important thing for me.
Right. What do you think as far as all of the information coming out about Austin Metcalf and Hunter, about all of the racial activity, and also beating up girls, all sorts of things?
It's horrible. I mean, it's horrible that this is what the boys did prior, especially to the victim. It's horrible to know that was their behavior. I don't like, to be honest with you, the villainize survivors. I mean, victims. I hate that, because they do that to us all the time, like black and brown. Whenever one of ours get unalived, the first thing, we can't get victim services, because the first thing they do, they try to connect our kids with, gang related activities and stuff like that. So I don't like to actually drag somebody who's unalive. With that said, in this particular case, is very it's very serious to the point that they're throwing away this young man's life in a situation where I believe, unless I see otherwise, was self-defense. So it benefit us to know exactly who these kids are to help Carmela Anthony to let us know what led to that incident. You know what I mean? So although I hate the fact that they're villainizing it, bringing out all the dirt on this kid who's not here, I think it's unnecessary. It's necessary for us to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I want to share something with you right now in regards to what came out today. Let's check this out.
Both prosecutors and the defense in this case presented their case using a motion for a new trial hearing to expose the violent backgrounds of both Anthony and Austin Metcalf.
JD Miles has been in the courtroom all day, and he joins us now live with the latest. JD, there is a lot to unpack here.
There was a private off-the-record agreement between attorneys for Carmelo Anthony and prosecutors to keep the sordid backgrounds of the killer and the victim out of the ear of the jury and the public, to focus solely on the murder trial and what happened under that tent at the Frisco High School track meet last year. But now there's in this motion for a new trial, the background reports are being released, and the defense is going first, releasing 20 pages now.
20 pages, guys. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Also, keep hitting the hearts. Mama Flips, tell everyone your channel.
Oh, my channel is Mama Flip Slots, MAMASFLIP Slots. I think we need to start tagging me on posts so that people could follow me. I have 2 channels, but the most important is the slot channel. By the way, you see how JD called him a killer? Is that what reporters supposed to do? Is that what we're supposed to do as reporters when reporting a case?
Right.
Normally we say perpetrator, defendant. You see how he just went into killer, right? I just want to make sure that we're aware of where JD Miles stands as a reporter. Go ahead.
All right.
Of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Carmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school, and in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking."
We're off to a rough start here. What do you think about this?
Wow. I mean, wow. Really, Austin? Really? Damn.
See, this is why you need a gentleman's deal. You follow? You see
That's
that?
crazy. I mean, I expected a few things. I didn't expect. What? That's crazy. Let's continue here about Austin. Like, may you rest in peace. Like, what?
Isn't that brutal?
We talking about 2024. That's 2 years ago. What do you do in 2025?
My heavens. All right.
Crazy.
Let's keep rolling.
Talking wild, Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
Well, we understand that prosecutors, meanwhile, they do have a 75-page character dossier on Carmelo Anthony, which they promised to present as well. That document shows that on the morning of the stabbing, Anthony sent out a text saying that he was, quote, low-key on the verge, and that his girlfriend went to their school principal to complain that he had been stalking her because she broke up with him. Of course, we'll keep you posted on all of those developments, and we will continue to follow this hearing very closely. For updates, stay with...
Wow. This is a lot to process at one time, right?
That's a lot. So did they have a chance to reveal the 75 pages that they have on Kamala Anthony, or they're just saying that's pending?
It's all in the development. In fact, we're gonna have two guests on that are in the main courtroom today, so it should be exciting to get the firsthand information in regards to this case, right?
That's insane. That's insane though. Like, wow, that's insane. What with they were threatening to bring a pew-pew to school? So what is going to be? There were going to be a shooter? Like, what's happening? That's crazy.
Yeah. So now we start to understand, because during the trial, when I attended the original trial, I always wondered why it seemed like we didn't hear anything about the Metcalf boys, pretty much negative. And then even with Carmelo, you just didn't get a chance to hear a lot about his character. You know, most of these cases we cover, like the Alexander brothers, Diddy,
Yeah,
Trump,
you hear everything. Yep.
you hear everything, right?
Yes, you do hear everything.
In this case, it was just void. A lot of people said, well, Carmelo Anthony's attorneys, they have their hands tied behind their back. But now we're starting to see they shook hands on a gentleman's deal. I won't tell your business if you don't tell mine.
And then this kid still got 35 years, right?
Still got 35 years. In fact, yeah, the gentleman's deal was more profitable for the prosecution than Carmelo right from the jump, from Jump Street.
I think so. There are some people that are saying that once everything comes out about Carmelo Anthony, he might get more years. But I mean, what, 35 to what, 99? Like, what are we doing? Like, the fact is that most of his life is going to already be over. He stays there for 35 years. We don't know what's going to happen to him, especially if it's proven that it's a self-defense, that he shouldn't be in there in the first place. So I would roll the dice and have the trial done again myself.
Yeah. Well, there's a strong possibility that there could be another trial. From what I'm understanding from the attorneys that I'm talking to, this is more about the logistics and the legalities of the trial that I actually attended versus what all of this banter is going back and forth today.
Mm. Okay.
Right.
Well,
are you expecting perhaps that he will get a new trial?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would think so, because the judge was recused, and normally in the cases like that, when the judge has done the acts, especially when the fact that the judge did an interview pretty much in the middle of the case, because he didn't give Kamala Anthony an opportunity to appeal. I believe there's a time frame of 30 days, and if the judge had to wait, because he was always in his privilege, trying to be that face of white justice, Kamala Anthony, that he played himself. You know, he was so arrogant that he played himself. He felt that he was the law of the town, so nobody could do anything with him. So he went out there and he did an interview, and then by doing the interview, he actually violated Kamala Anthony rights, because Kamala Anthony has a right to appeal. So he wasn't even supposed to do that interview, right? So thank you for doing the interview. And the fact that he violated his rights, I think that Kamala Anthony does deserve a new trial. Here's the thing, though. This kind of reminds me of the Bill Cosby case, right?
Okay.
The Bill Cosby case, at the end of the day, he was found guilty and he was in jail. He had an appeal. In the appeal, they found out that there was an agreement that Bill Cosby said that he would plead guilty to a case as long as he doesn't go to jail. It was written in an agreement, and that agreement was not released during trial. At the end of the day, the judge had to release him because there was no ramification. There was no ramification to fix the massive error. And the judge had to release Bill Cosby because they already had a pre-deal. So now you're telling me there's a gentleman deal that took place that could have possibly violated Carmelo Anthony. You have a judge who was so angry in his privilege where he thought that he was better than anybody else. So I think that there's a possibility, if it's pushed right, that if he doesn't get an appeal, that he could continue. They could continue to push it to a higher court and see what happens after that. That's how.
Right.
So yeah. So I don't know how they're gonna fix it. To be honest with you, I don't know how they're gonna fix this.
What I'm excited to see is that already I saw a lot of headlines in regards to Carmelo Anthony. Oh, he's such a monster. That was because the morning a lot of things came out in his behalf that were negative. But I want to see if they're going to stress the negative items that came out in regards to the Metcalfs. You know, I want to see what Megan.
Not in that area, please. I mean, I saw your show with your boy yesterday. What's his name again? The one that doesn't believe there's racism in Mississippi. Your boy.
Oh, Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel. Hey, Emmanuel. Apparently, Emmanuel feel that in Mississippi and other states there's no racism, right? That's what he feel. The world is one big happy rainbow, and we should be happy and move on. You see, the fact of the matter is that where he is now, Carmelo Anthony is one of the worst places that he could have been to defend himself against a white kid, right? Okay, that area is predominantly white. They are the reporter just now. We just saw the reporter call Carmelo Anthony a killer, right? Just off bat, right? So it's going to be very difficult for him to get a fair trial. It's going to be very difficult for him to get a fair shake. They're never, I don't think, unless I hear it, I don't think they are going to be able to help themselves and tell the full truth when it comes to Austin. But even if they tell the truth, they're going to also make sure that they push the language that, yeah, even though he did all of that, remember, you're talking about a killer, though. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He pushed the girl. He was just a kid, right? But remember, he was that one right there is a killer, though. Don't forget that. Oh, he called them the N-word. You know how these black folks are. I know how these black folks are. They use that word too. Why is it such a big deal? They use it in songs. They call each other the N-word. But don't forget that kid right there, that's killer. That's what you need to worry about. That's what I see. That's what I see going to happen. So I don't see that there's going to be any fair shake, no matter what they find out about this. Or he might dress as a Nazi, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, poor kid."
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think that the fact that it's going until tomorrow.
You always say, "Wow." Whenever I say something, you always say, "Wow." Like, you don't expect me to say the things I will say. You should know me by now to know that I'm going to be saying some stuff. You always say, "Wow." But go ahead.
Well, it's kind of early, so that's why I had to give you a wow. This case, I could tell, is getting to you. So
all the cases get to me. But I already said this. I said this from the very beginning, that it wasn't a fair shake for Carmelo Anthony. And a lot of people thought I was wrong. A lot of people said I was wrong. Okay? Guests said I was wrong. Lawyers said that Mama Flip was wrong. All right? I've been told I was wrong so many times on so many cases, I don't even know what to do with myself that I'm so wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mama Flip don't have the experience. She's not a lawyer. But yet, we are here. We are here today, though, right? This is where we at, right? Okay. I'm just saying. So whenever you say, wow, I find it funny because everything I've said, and I say now, and I'm going to say, I've already said before we came to this day.
Okay. All right. We're getting a lot of pushback in the comments. I was just checking out some of the
They can push back it up. We all know you can push back as much as you want. We all know that if Carmelo Anthony was a white kid and Austin was black, we would not be here today. That's what we know. It wouldn't have been a trial. He wouldn't have gotten 35 years. They would have called it self-defense and we would have moved on. That's
Right.
what happened. We all know that. So y'all can live in that make-believe world that y'all want to live in. But the rest of us that lived real life and live in these streets, we know exactly what time we're on. But go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to bring in some people?
No, they'll be here later. This is your show, so we're going to keep pushing. We want to hear what you have to say in regards to it. We also have to talk about Nolan, some new developments in regards to that. Also, his birthday, so we're going to get to Nolan.
Yes.
But as
Yes.
far as
Rest in-
Carmelo go, do you think that this has an impact on the United States as far as race relations?
I think the fact is that people is paying more attention. I think that people are now paying more attention. Like we've always known what race relationship was in America. As Black folks, we know. We have some of our brothers and sisters who are live special in Christ. They live special in Christ, and they believe the world is rainbow. But the rest of us, even though whether we're Christian or not, and I'm not, I'm a lapsed Catholic, we know what reality is. We live in reality. We don't live in Twilight Zone. We know what racism is, right? So the only thing is for many years, people were more polite about it. It wasn't so obvious. It was passive racism. You understand? It was implied. You knew who was the a-hole, but you also knew, we know what you're doing, but it was too polite. And then you had this man called Donald Trump come down the escalator, and everybody out here showing their entire behind, like they think they own the world. And in one way, they feel that it's okay to say whatever they want to say and be as racist as they want to, but they also don't want us to think about the past. They want us to move forward. Like, why y'all blaming me? Why y'all blaming little Karen, little John, little Dick, and little Mark about the racism of previous generation? We should move forward. We would love to move forward if a lot of you guys would stop with the nonsense and the disrespect. We would love to move forward if we feel comfortable that our kids are going to have the same rights as your kids. We would love to move forward if we know that there's a stand your ground law in Texas, and we know for a fact that if a white kid did it, he would have got off. We would love to move forward if we knew for a fact that if our kids was white and they went on a trip to an island with 4 black guys and his behind didn't come home, that the police department wouldn't come out there and say, hey, we saw nothing, undeterred. We saw no issues. It looked like, a regular drowning. You see what I'm saying? We don't have equal justice in America because we're Black, right?
Do you think that President Trump is going to help that in any way?
The only way he's going to help is if they give him some money. If he has if it's a benefit to him. I find it interesting that every time people come in and they start talking about how Donald Trump did so much as far as race relations because he changed some of the incarceration law. Like, we ain't stupid enough to see that it was Kim Kardashian that went up there with her big behind and stuff like that in her face to impress Donald Trump to make him change. And we're not smart enough to know that the people that he released are millionaires and that is an industry that have done some stuff. Are we that silly to not know that everything that Donald Trump do is a transaction? So it's okay that you guys want to give him a lot of credit and say that he's a successful businessman, even though he had 7 bankruptcies and he lied and cheated in taxes. You want to say that he's a smart businessman, but yet when we bring up to your face that everything he does for Black folks is because it's just transactional, then we're wrong. It's because he loved Black folks, right? It's because all of them love Black folks. We just think too much. We just think too hard. We won't let it go, right? That's what you want us to believe. But a lot of us don't believe that. We can't let it go because you guys won't let it go. And that's the point.
When the father, Jeff Metcalf, when he said something about the watermelon felon, what do you think in regards to that from what you're hearing today about the behavior of the sons over the last few years?
I hate talking about fellow survivors. He's a fellow survivor.
Well, you could talk about Hunter. That's fine.
No, I hate to talk about fellow survivor, meaning a survivor family, because I'm a survivor. So
Oh,
as a
okay.
survivor,
All right. So,
try to be
so
graceful. With that said, I hear that he's laughing at the people's faces in court, that he's just cheery. He's just happy go lucky, right? You lost your son. You would think that would change you. Apparently it hasn't changed him. So he's the same person that he was prior to his son unalivement, while his son alive to now. So let's see how much he laughed now when we see what happened if we get a new child. Let's see how he finds that to be funny. He's going to regret it for the rest of his life. He is an arrogant person based on what I see, right? And sometime one thing that I learned as being a survivor advocate for many years, there's a saying in the community, survivor community, when you lose somebody to such violence, it changes you, right? It either makes you a better person or it horn in to all the evil that was in you in the first place. It makes you even worse of a person. And looking at the father, it makes him even worse a person than he was before, in my opinion.
right. It seems that there's less agitators at this hearing than that was at the trial. Do you think that's because people feel like they got their way with him getting 35 years?
You mean you mean on the opposite side? Because I know I saw a lot of black folks
Opposite,
out there.
opposite side, agitators. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they feel that they have time, but if he gets a new child, they'll be back outside again. They'll be back outside again. And I think, is there more black folks now coming to the trial than it was before?
I think it's less people, but there's still, there's mostly black people. If
I
that's
heard
the answer to your
exactly
question.
what I'm saying. I heard that the new what group, the Black Panther, was outside. I
Yeah,
heard
they
the Black
they were
Panther.
there. They were there
I heard,
before.
and I heard they were there before, and I heard that there's a lot more, and I saw there was a lot more black folks out there. So maybe they decide they don't want to have this fight right now because the case he hasn't gotten a new trial, right? They don't want to have that fight. So what I think, in my opinion, that if he does get a new trial, the same people that's out here now in the appeal, they need to be out here and they need to be out there in bigger forces. Because I know that this judge, one of the reasons why that I'm hearing that he didn't allow filming in the courtroom and why he restricted, I think I even heard that he restricted the rights of certain media. There was more media that wanted to be there and he wouldn't open up another room. So he restricted the seats and everything because he was afraid for the safety of the witnesses and for the staff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? That's what he said. Right? I think if there's a new trial, then there is going to be a lot more of the agitators, especially the white agitators, because they're going to lose their mind. And I think more of the black folks in the community should come out there and stand with the Kamala Anthony family and see what's up. Because sometimes you have to take a stand for what's right. So I would love to know. So to answer your question, the reason why they're not there because they don't feel like to be bothered because he still has the 35 years. But I think that if they give him a new trial, they're gonna come out there, they're gonna lose their mind, right? That's my opinion. But I also think that the same black folks that are out here at the appeal, they should come back out again if he gets a new trial, and then more so. So they know that we're not playing either. Just like we're not playing about Nolan, we need to stand up and say we're not playing about Kamala Anthony either.
Right, right. Bill Werski, from what I understand, he was talking about a lot of the content creators and putting out false information. They're also doing background checks on a lot of the content creators. Why do you think they're focusing so hard on the content creators and not the mainstream media?
Because the content creators, most of us probably black and brown folks, and most of us don't have the restrictions that a lot of the legacy media have. Most of us speak our mind, say what we're going to say because we be damned, right? Nobody's going to tell us what to do. So they want to find out who we are. Also, a lot of our content creators do have different thoughts on different aspects of the case, right? And then you have some of them that also may go a little too far, as far as, you know, making bold statements against the victim family, right? So I understand the fact that they want to make sure that the people that's going to court are not going to do something, you know, harmful to anybody, right? But I don't agree with people trying to stop the First Amendment to report. I don't like that. So yeah, I think that the reason why they're doing background check is because they see a lot of black and brown, but also I think they're doing it so they could keep tab of us also, right? Even the ones of us that is not even saying anything, we're just covering the case just to give the story. They want to keep tab to see who says what. Because I think eventually what they're going to try to do, and I hope that media stick up to it and sue them, they're going to try to restrict certain people from going to court, right? That's what they did in the Diddy case too. They tried to restrict some people from coming into the courtroom because they felt that they had fights, people were complaining. So I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to identify people and see if they're going to be troublemakers, but I think they're going to push it too far.
Right.
That's what I feel. And I think that in their mind, Black and legacy media have actually a full set of lawyers, right? They have the First Amendment and they have lawyers because they are actually working with huge organizations. What they don't understand, especially for us here in New York, we also, as independent media, as long as we accredited and we are certified, we have the same legal rights as everybody else. So I don't know if that's the case over there in where is it, Texas? I don't know if that's the case there, you know?
Yes, McKinney, Texas. You know, when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, the story about how maybe within an hour or two before Austin was killed, that his girlfriend broke up with him. And he said something like, you know, I'm low key on the verge. And then this whole thing happened. I think that's going to be the talk of the town tonight when it comes to the news.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was said probably to steer the news. You know how it is when it comes to these cases, the media pushes the narrative. What are your thoughts about that when this actual hearing is more about the last trial and whether or not it was done by the book?
First, you have a super chat. Anybody has a question, we should put it in super chat so Mel can read it. You want to read the question, the super chat first, Mel?
Okay, so Phil James says, so are you for unaliving at a school function if an altercation breaks out?
I'm for defending yourself. And if I hear correctly, he attacked Carmelo Anthony when he wasn't supposed to attack him. He wasn't supposed to put hands on that kid. He didn't have a right to. And apparently he has a history of violence, of getting away with these type of actions. So it's unfortunately that this young kid was unalived. Nobody should be unalive, but I am here to understand that when it comes to self-defense, anything could happen. So that's the answer to the question that I have. So anybody else want to have questions, please send us a super chat so we could read it now, because it seemed like we don't understand how it works on YouTube, right? You see how Philip was able to get his question answered? Please do so. Please follow suit. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay, what you said. Okay, the story about the girlfriend, Mel. All right. The fact is that is young people, right, go through all type of tragedies in their life. How old is he? He was 17 years old. Even Austin. A lot of stuff they're gonna say about Austin's brothers, they did it when they were children, right? They were kids, they're growing up, they're not mentally there, blah, 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 blah. If Carmelo Anthony came into that tent, right, and he attacked somebody, okay, he went, he took the situation out of his bag, he approached somebody, and he attacked somebody because he's mad that his girlfriend broke up with him. That's a totally different incident about what happened. The kid went there, he sat down, he went to talk to whatever his name was, Peter, who said that's not his friend and he never saw him his day of his life. Is that the kid named Peter?
Eddie.
Eddie. He went to sit next to Eddie. Sorry, guys. Eddie, to talk to Eddie. These two kids came in there, didn't like the fact that this young black kid was sitting in under the tent, and they told him to move. He didn't want to move, right? According to my understanding, the testimony, Austin reach for him or try to reach for him. Kamala said, "Don't touch me." He touched him, took it in out of the bag, and he jerked him. Unfortunately, he lost his life. He didn't have it in his hand when he walked in. He didn't have it in his hand when he sat down. He didn't approach somebody and do anything. This kid approached him. This kid touched him. Right? So everything that they have to say about his state of mind, his mental health, the fact that he's depressed because his girlfriend broke up with him, in the cases of stuff like that, if you know anything about domestic violence, and I've studied a lot about domestic violence because I've also worked with domestic violence victim, right? Most of the time in situations like that, they either unalive themselves or they unalive the person that they have an issue with. It's not very often that in cases like this, they would actually unalive, unless it's a huge event that is planned, someone else. It's not often that case. Normally is a domestic violence or a close partner that get unalive in situations like this. You understand what I'm saying? So either way, even if he was so angry about the breakup and everything like that, the whole scenario does not lead me to believe that he decided that because his girlfriend broke his heart, he was going to go in the track meet, sit down, mind his business, talk to a guy, and then all of a sudden he's going to pick the first white guy and stab him. I don't see it.
So you don't think one has to do with the other,
I
and
don't
that's
see-
what's being spent?
I don't see it. Do you see it as the case? Do you think that if he had the intent, because his girlfriend broke his heart, right, that he was going to go to a track meet, right, sit down, talk to a guy that he knew for a while, right, because it was raining, have his backpack on his back and then take it out, warn the person not to touch him, and then after that stab him because his girlfriend broke his heart?
Right.
It doesn't even
I
make sense.
get I get your point, but I will say this when I cover these cases, I think the narrative, the story has a lot to do with it. And I think when you factor in the way Bill Werski put it out today, it's already being spun as being associated with him being, no longer with his girlfriend. So um, definitely he's going to be marred in regards to they're going to tie both of those together.
I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen, what should happen, is if he gets a new trial to move it out of that whole county. I know that our attorney Calvin, the attorney, it was Calvin that was saying that that's the best county in the area because all the other counties are worse. I heard what he said, but I think is the best case scenario is to move him out because, to be honest with you, the jury pool is being tainted every single day as we speak, right? So that's the first thing. If I was a good lawyer, if I get a second trial, I will remove him. I would push to move him out of the area. That's one. Also, when it comes to the jury, you and I know that half the things these kids done is not going to be told by the juror. They're going to fight tooth and nail. And this is what they were supposed to do with the pre-trial. And that's another reason, which I did not realize they didn't have a pre-trial. Because every case in New York, they had a pre-trial where both lawyers have an opportunity to talk and tell the judge what is not going to be admissible in court, right? They didn't even have that. They had a gentleman agreement, right? So normally in these cases, they will have a pre-trial, they will have a trial where they have an evidentiary trial, right? With the judge. The judge will tell them to give me everything, every evidence you don't want the juries to see, and I'll make a determination. And then they sat down because we went through it. We went to the court. You know what I'm talking about. You're staring at me. Can you agree and shake your head? That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because you just stared at me. I want to make sure that everybody know I'm not lying. So we went to court where we saw the prosecutor and defense fight about every single piece of evidence. That's why the famed Diddy juror found him innocent and three of the 5 charges, because they didn't see all the evidence that we saw. We heard all the evidence that they didn't see. You understand what I'm saying? So if this case go again, a lot of the stuff that's being said is not going to be admissible in court anyway, because it's going to be prejudicial, right? So right now, all they're doing right now is trying to taint the jury pool. That's what they're trying to do right now. Because I don't think half this thing is going to come out. I don't think half the thing about Austin is going to come out. And I don't think half the thing about Kamala is going to come out. They're going to fight like cats and dogs. I don't know why they decided to do the gentleman agreement when they could have just done the pre-trial. This is why this trial is railroaded. This is why I don't understand. This was just a railroad kind of hanging trial because you guys didn't do anything correctly. All of this stuff that's being said right now, they could have agreed formally in a hearing through court records properly, and we wouldn't be here. But he didn't care. That judge was so freaking arrogant that he felt he ran everything, that he failed in so many different areas. So yeah. So I don't think a lot of this stuff is going to come out in the wash anyway, but I really think that, the pool is being tainted right now. It's gonna be very difficult to find jurors that's not biased in this case. So I think if he does get it, it has to move. They have to ask for a new area.
Okay, we're going to bring up criminal defense attorney Calvin Johnson for a few minutes here. All right,
hey, dear,
Calvin.
how you doing? How you doing?
You see, I was
Good.
talking about you. Thank God I ain't say nothing bad because I didn't know you were backstage.
Well, that's good. That's good. I got to get this collar right. I'm trying to jump on. Man, got me. I'm trying to jump on real quick.
You like that other guy, Emmanuel. I think his name Emmanuel. He had me tripping the other day, boy. I just shake my head. How are you, Mr. Calvin? How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's just today has been truly something different. Me and Mel were talking off camera, and I was like, all that information had dropped. But I kind of had been alluding to some things that I was concerned about with this young man. I figured that there was some bad stuff in that phone. I figured that there was some bad stuff. Probably maybe even in Louisiana where he came from. Now I can speak how I want to speak because I wanted to say this earlier, but I didn't want people to think that I was being anti-Carmelo because, I got to be careful. A lot of people will think I'm against this young man. And I always try to tell people before I'm anything, I'm a black man first. And I want this young man to be okay. And I wish him the best. I didn't wish this for him, and I don't want him to get an unfair trial. But I was concerned about what was in that phone and what was in some of his history, because to do all of this stuff they were doing, it was just too much. And I just was like, well, wait a minute. And I give you one bigger one, and me and Mel was talking about this earlier. If they had this kind of information about Carmelo Anthony and were willing to do a gentleman's agreement because of that information, I wonder what they have on Austin and his brother.
It got
for them to even want to do that.
No, it got to be nasty. And then they have the nerve. I'm hearing they have the nerve that they acted like.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can't hear y'all.
Oh,
Okay, can you hear me, Calvin?
I'm gonna
Are you
go
able
back
to hear
out
me?
and come back in.
Okay, all right, very good.
Sorry about that. I was about to say to Calvin, when he come back, he'll hear us. Can you hear us?
No, he's going out and he'll come back in. Go ahead and talk. Tell us your thoughts about what he was saying.
No, I was saying the same. I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, because the prosecutor was like, oh, we were doing them a favor. We're doing them a favor by not saying everything. Because we told them, you guys, reason why we had a gentleman agreement is we were doing Carmelo Anthony, defense attorney, a favor, right? Because if we did not do that, Carmelo Anthony would have got more time. Remember, I said that earlier. But I said to myself, oh, what they have on Austin must have been crazy. Because why would they even do that kind of gentleman agreement? It doesn't make sense, especially since they have a judge. Even though I know that you said that the judge, Calvin, I still think the judge was the wrong judge for the case. I thought that he used his privilege in order to run the case to railroad Carmelo Anthony. I'm going to stay on that. I don't trust the judge. I didn't like the fact that he did the interview after the fact. I didn't like the judge from the very beginning. That's just me.
Okay, so 1 second, guys. I want to bring to the stage somebody that was in the main courtroom. She is a national. She fights crime. Let's welcome Selena Charles to the stage.
Hi, everyone.
How's everybody doing? Hey, how you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Listen, y'all, I'll say this. It's a very tough situation, but like I said, as a defense attorney, For them to make for the state to want to make a gentleman's agreement based on what they had on Carmelo, I just wonder what they got on the other two boys. Because for them to want to do that, because that group of prosecutors will do you no favors. And I had already talked to you about this, Mel. See, there's some conversations that I have because I got to be careful because I'm still in those courts over there. I wouldn't have been making gentleman agreements with nobody. We just would have would have had to just fight it out because I just wouldn't have trusted them doing what they said they were going to do. I just wouldn't have trusted that. We just would have just had to put it out there. As bad as this is, they would have put their bad stuff. They could have put my bad stuff, and we just would have just dealt with it because I wouldn't have wanted to try to do all of that because I would have had to trust folks. And no, I just wouldn't have done that. But with that being said, I wonder what they had on the Metcalf brothers for them to even want to do a gentleman's agreement on this one. And I got some ideas of what they had on the Metcalf brothers. I'm gonna tell you that.
Selena was there. Selena was there. Tell us.
Y'all, I'm devastated by today. I'm disgusted and listening to this beautiful queen and this young man. Um, I agree totally with both of y'all. Today, listening to everything they put out about these boys, the Metcalfs, with their history from 2018 up until the day of the event that occurred with the Metcalf boys and Carmelo. These boys were some racist seeds.
Hmm.
These boys, they went out and they painted graffiti. And in that graffiti, they put something on there about Hitler, about the KKK, about killing all Black people, about niggers.
Hmm.
Constantly in almost, I want to say it was close to 40 exhibits. Majority of their words were niggers and killing all Black people. They attacked constantly Black children. Majority of the emails that were put out on these kids were sent in by instructors that complained about how aggressive these boys were. In one of the exhibits, it talked about how Austin grabbed his mother by the neck, by the throat. It also talked about how he called his dad a nigger. Austin had pushed a little girl so hard to where she fell and her shoulder was fractured. He told someone I don't want to quote if it was the instructor that he told to suck his penis,
Hmm.
but he told someone to suck his penis. Listen, with all the stuff that they was, with everything that they were reading in the courtroom today about these boys, I was so angry because it was a clear picture that they railroaded Carmelo. It was a clear picture that this is why Hunter wasn't in court. It was a clear picture that this is why they didn't want to say what occurred with these boys, what happened with these boys' history. Now, there was a message that was sent through text message between Carmelo and his girlfriend in 2024. And he stated something about having no, that he would stab someone and lick the blood off of the knife. Russell stated, Russell asked Michael Howard if there was at any time that police had to come and engage in that interaction with the text message. Michael said no. Mike said no. There was a picture that they put out with Carmelo with a weapon, a firearm, and they couldn't distinguish whether that was a BB or I don't know what kind of words I can use here, but they couldn't distinguish. They couldn't distinguish whether it was real or whether it was
A
fake.
fake. Yeah.
But that was like the only two things that they called out pretty much about Carmelo compared to these boys and all of these exhibits. It was so disgusting to where I couldn't even finish write. I got sick of writing. I got disgusted. Like I was outraged. I was angry. Tears was just coming because I was fed up because it was a clear indication that Carmelo Anthony was railroaded. And had they would have considered Carmelo's rights to a fair trial, everything would have been put on the table. Whether it would have hurt someone or exonerated someone, all this should have been put on the table during the trial. It should not have been a agreement.
What did I tell y'all? I mean, and we've done podcasts before, and they will tell y'all, what
That's
did I say I would have done? If I had a whole year with this young man, I just would have got him ready, and we just would have went to war. I always tell people what I would have done with him, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm a former athlete. He's an athlete. I just would have treated it like it was a training camp, and I would have been like, "Hey, listen, you got to treat it like we're playing football. You there? You just gonna have to duck and dodge them, and we're gonna have to go in here, and this is what we gonna do. Don't let them catch you. Don't let them beat you." And I would have gave him a pep talk. I would have had him ready, and their dirty would against our dirty. Well, what I would have did, what our dirty is, I would have told it our way first. I always tell people when I have a bad set of facts, I don't let the other side go out and use it first. I tell it my way first. I put it out there. I put the bad stuff out there first. I put the bad stuff out there first, and I put it out there early. The reason why you put it out there first and you put it out there early is because if you put it out there first and you put it out there early, then you have a whole 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days that you allow people to process it and sometimes even forget it. Or more importantly, give it less weight because they're further away from it. So what we should have done and what I would have done, I would have taken his worst facts, I'd have put them out there in day one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be real with you. I'd have leaked it early.
Mm.
I'd have leaked that early. We'd have knocked that out the way. By the time we got to trial, we'd have been dealt with that before. But once again, I told y'all this, and I'm not down in anybody else. I would have managed this completely different. There wouldn't have been a press conference in the beginning. Because, see, doing a case like this, part of it is the legal work. Part of it is managing narratives, managing media, managing timelines, managing information, and when that information comes out, and how that information comes out, and how that information hits. With me, I'd have put our bad information out first. I'd have put it out my way. I would have dealt with it early, and then I would have hit the Metcalfs late. And I would have stayed on all of that bad stuff constantly. That way, the jury in their minds would have been thinking about, hey, this young man was making that decision because he had these kind of guys come at them with that kind of hate and they heart at him. And the next thing you know, it processes a little bit better. I'm not saying that they're going to find him innocent, but if they do find him guilty, they're not going to be like, well, he wasn't that cold hearted with stabbing him. I'm just going to give him 5 years or 10 years or 8 years as opposed to giving him 35. Then it's not so bad for him. But see, that's what you have to do. You needed to humanize him, and you needed to get the bad stuff out early, and you needed to have the full plate. I would have liked to have all the tools. Don't take the tools away from me. I'll deal with them.
I agree.
And I wouldn't have trusted that other side to do anything. I just wouldn't have. And there's various reasons why I wouldn't have trusted the other side. And nothing against them, but whatever you got, you got. Whatever I got, I got. Let's go to war.
Wow. So what happened in the afternoon? Was it much different in the morning?
Hmm. So, well, this morning they gave their statements. They gave both of their opening statements. Um, they called up the guy name was
Jackson?
Derek Jackson.
Yeah.
So you know that Derek Jackson, he was working I think with public relations or something of that nature. And he
Right.
lost his job because he mistakenly sent, the way they put it out, like he mistakenly sent out a email to Christopher King. And that email shouldn't have been sent to Christopher King. From what I received today, basically, it was only supposed to be sent to certain medias, in which I think was discrimination, because whether you are a CNN or ABC compared to an independent journalist, you are still media. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Derek has stated that he had no knowledge that of who Christopher King was. He just happened to copy and paste what he had sent to the prior media, and he ended up sending it to Christopher because he received the email from Christopher of the schedule, and he had no knowledge of it. But he said that he received a call. I can't remember if it was a call or a email, but he received a some kind of communication from his boss, and the boss was very upset with him. So he went in for a meeting, and he said he listened to the boss, and the boss talked about how that information shouldn't have been basically leaked out to the public, basically. Um, and he lost his job.
They fired him. Wow.
Yes, they fired him. Yes, they did.
Of
So
course. Is
I'm
it?
sorry.
I'm so sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
I'm not sure if I heard the fact that he was actually reprimanded by the judge also for 6 minutes, and that when after he finished spoke to the judge, that they handed him a yellow full envelope, and then he was fired. Was it the judge that reamed him, or the boss that reamed him?
I
Which one?
I
'Cause,
I, I,
everybody have their own story about what happens.
mhm. I remember him saying something about the judge. I would have to look. I gotta look through my notes. This is a lot of notes to look through right now.
Oh no,
But
that's fine. The fact is that he got fired because he did his job. That's pretty much that's what happened,
yes,
right? He
because
got
he said he had no knowledge of who Christopher King was. He just thought that, this is a news media outlet that's reaching out to him, and all he did was just copy that information and forward it over. But they were so upset with the fact that I guess Christopher King got that information, because today Christopher King, Tiffany Billions, and North Carolina Beats were basically the villains in the room today.
Let me share something with y'all. One of the things about being down here in Texas, the racism is not always overt. It's not always in your face. There's a quiet racism that happens that people don't see. And then when you're down here like myself, I see it all the time, because there is a group of folks that, can't, okay, I'm about to go out and come back in.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think it's her. I could hear him, but you can't hear us. Can you hear us? You have to go out and come back in. You have to leave and come back in.
Oh, there it goes. I can hear
You
you
can hear
now.
us now? Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I could hear I could hear Calvin and stuff like that, but yeah, he'll be back. But
All
yeah,
right. So continue to tell us about what happened
yes,
today
please.
at
Yes,
court.
tell us what else
Oh,
happened.
okay. So they were talking about Christopher King filing I want to say they said something about Christopher King filed a motion. They said that he sent plenty of emails. Um he filed some things into the case. Uh what I kind of received from Christopher, like, this was kind of like some defamation going on. Basically, he was saying that this wasn't true to some things. Um, Go ahead, Calvin.
What I was telling you about being down here in Texas, my entire life, I always tell people racism is not always just overt and out in your face.
Mm-hmm.
The racism down here can sometimes be very quiet. It can be very, very sneaky, because on the surface, you go out to a place sometimes like Collin County, you'll see a lot of Black people. You'll see even some Black people in places of power. You'll see Black clerks. You'll see Black people at the courthouse. You'll see Black people in certain positions. But best believe there still is a group of folks that when they get by themselves, they still do what they do. And that's the thing about racism sometimes in Texas, especially in some of the suburban areas because you're going to have to interact with Black people in the Metroplex. The Dallas Metroplex area, people need to understand this. In literally 3 years, we will be the third largest metropolitan area in the United States. We will have more people than Chicago. We will have more people than Houston. The only two areas that will have more people will be New York and Los Angeles. And so when you look at all of the people and you look at it being down here in the South and you look at Dallas and Houston being huge population centers, basically the third and fourth largest metropolitan areas in the United States that have large African American populations, the racism down here can be kind of tricky because there's large groups of African Americans, which means you have to interact with us. But the racism is kind of quiet, sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's overt, but there's a lot of quiet, hidden racism. And that's the stuff you got to watch out for when you go into these court systems and when you have situations like this. Because to me, Carmelo Anthony should have had at least on the original team one African American attorney. Because you know what? That brother or that sister's going to go, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because I got to go back to my community and explain that to them. And I'm not going to risk my career, my community, and my family name messing around with y'all like that.
Yeah.
And see, that's what should have happened. And it didn't happen.
I agree.
Okay, very good. So, Mama Flips, you have any questions about today?
So I thought it was going to be a 2-day trial. I'm hearing that tomorrow is another day. So do we know if at the end of the day they're going to make a decision, or is just the hearing is going to be completed and the judge is going to come back with the decision? Do we know?
I don't know how it's going to turn out. It was supposed to end today, and it took a few hours to get through Michael Howard with Carmelo's team and the prosecutor going back and forward. Tomorrow morning, I think we're going to start with Toby Shook being on the stand. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know that I'm going to be there and available until it ends, to whatever they conclude, whatever decision they come up with.
I wanted to provide a little bit more information. Judge Chitty is going to be, he's over this hearing. Is that correct?
Correct.
I've dealt with Judge Chitty out in Kaufman County. Matter of fact, I was out there not too long ago.
Mhm.
And one thing I will tell you, he's very methodical. He's gonna really, really listen to everything. He's gonna go very, very slow about his analysis. Now, I'm gonna tell you, he really does not like to reverse things that have already been done. That's just been my history and watching him, but he will listen to all the arguments, and he will be very, very detailed about going through what every single body says and what every single person did, and he will pay attention to the law in terms of that. But with that being said, I don't know if he's going to grant a new trial. To me, in the past, I think he has kind of erred on the side of leaving things how they are, unless it's something catastrophic. And I'm not saying that this isn't, but he may punt this one over to the appeals court and let them deal with it. But he will listen. And one last thing I always tell people, and Mel, and I told Mel this when it started, I was one of the people who, when those Carmelo Anthony people call me, I recommended Russell Wilson, because he's the guy that does our continuing legal educations on appeals, which means he teaches other lawyers how to do appeals. He teaches other lawyers when we go in every year to update ourselves on the hours. Hey, this is what you need to pay attention to on appeals. And he's a good thinker. He's a very upstanding gentleman. He also used to work under my great friend, Craig Watkins, who was the district attorney here in Dallas. He was one of his first assistants when Craig Watkins was in the office, and Craig was the first African-American district attorney in Dallas County history. And so I'm telling you, Russell is really, really, really good. And I will tell people, yeah, it is catastrophic in terms of the way that he was done, with the way he was treated in terms of Carmelo Anthony was treated. I'm responding to the actual comments, but a lot of that was kind of done by his own lawyers by making those gentlemen agreements that were not on the record. And that's why
Yeah.
when you don't have things on the record, that's why I put everything on the record, because your reputation
Mm-hmm.
is out there. And for your client's sake, a lot of judges, even when you on motions for new trials and on appeals, when stuff is off the record, they won't even consider it no matter how bad it is. And that's why you got to be very careful about not having things on the record. That's why I'm going to put everything on the record. And that's why I don't do these gentlemen's agreements, because if they go wrong, you don't have any proof that anybody made any agreements. And so when you have something catastrophic like that, yeah, it's catastrophic, but look what's happening. It wasn't made on the record. And so what judges like Mr. Chitty, what the way they think is, if I allow stuff that wasn't on the record to factor into a case like this, then I'm setting precedent for other people who have issues on their cases when other people did not put things on the record to come into these courts and say, well, I know it wasn't on the record, Judge, but they were over there talking in the corner making deals. People like Chitty think like that. So that's why I say, yes, it's catastrophic, but it was catastrophic off the record. That's why you don't do that off the record stuff. And I'm just being a lawyer, not trying to be on one side or the other. I'm just telling you based on my knowledge of dealing with that particular judge and I've been doing this 25 years in this area. So being in front of that particular judge, knowing how they think, that's just how I'm seeing it. Unfortunately, that's why you don't do this off the record stuff. But we will see. Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows?
But if
Okay.
it was off the record, I'm sorry, Mel. If it was off the record, then why did it come out in court? Why are they not testifying? Why are they talking about it testifying and then in court if it's off the record? They are talking about the gentleman
They
agreement.
definitely are. They definitely are. And it's great that they're doing it, and I think they should do that. The only reason why I'm having this conversation with everybody is because on one end, it is terrible that off the record agreement, A, was even made, B, it was broken by one side, in my opinion. But the second part of that is, the flip side of that is, I want everybody to be prepared. I think that as a lawyer, I have to tell you, hey, it's wrong that they made it. It's wrong that they broke it. But the flip side of the argument on the other side is, on appeal, you want to discourage people in the future from making off-the-record agreements. And you also don't want to set the precedent for allowing off-the-record agreements to create situations where new trials are granted. That's why you don't make those agreements. And so I'm giving y'all both sides. So if he rules in the other direction, he'll rule in that direction because of this. If he rules for Carmelo, he'll rule in Carmelo's direction because of this. But these are the two sets of arguments that are going to be fighting each other. Do you set a new precedent? Do you allow arguments about off-the-record deals? Do you encourage off-the-record deals in the future to be part of new trial arguments? Or do you, when you have a gross breaking of an off-the-record deal and an off-the-record deal being made in the fashion that was made that is so slanted against the defendant, do we allow that in the future, and that be something to be considered because it's unfair and it really hurts the constitutional rights to a fair trial for that particular defendant. So those are the arguments that are going to be made. And so we'll see how he rules, but pay attention. And I guarantee you that if he rules for Carmelo, it'll be because of these things. If he rules against Carmelo, it'll be because of these things.
Okay, Celine, I know you have to be at court early tomorrow morning. I have one final question for you, and that
And I
is,
have a question too, okay?
okay, all right. So
Okay.
I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is for Calvin. Um, what about okay, because Russell stated something about the files being held in the judge's chambers. So what about that? How can that go, or what does that look like? Is that
That's not
even legal?
That's not something that should happen. And see, that's why I say people like Russ, he's very, very detailed and organized. Those things should have been filed with the clerks. They shouldn't have been held in the judge's chambers because to me, that's not an open and fair trial. Documents in a public trial should be filed openly with the public clerks. What you don't want to do is you don't want to try a case basically in private. They closed the entire courthouse down. A. They didn't give any overflow courtrooms. B.
I said that.
I'm an attorney that had cases out there in Collin County. They moved my cases out for 2 or 3 weeks down the road because they didn't want any traffic in that particular courthouse, which means they closed all the other courtrooms in the courthouse and they had no overflow rooms.
I said that. I said that earlier.
So
That were two of the grounds that Russell brought up today.
of course.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, so now you got people, you got that, and now you got the actual documents being held in the judge's chambers that other people don't even have access to. Even the county clerk itself doesn't have access to the documents until everything's over. You should not be doing that. You don't want to set the precedent. Once again, you don't want to set the precedent for doing that. And I always tell people, Russell is really good at finding things that were not done properly. And sometimes it will be the things that people are not even thinking about. Things like that. You do not want somebody like that to be tried in private. To be honest with you, I felt like if not for Mel and not for some of you who went to the trial, I felt like I had no insight into the trial at all. And for something, a trial so big, the general public shouldn't feel that way.
Mhm.
You have a right to be tried in public. And the reason why you should have a right to be tried in public because you want everybody to see that you had a fair trial.
Mhm.
If we allow Judge Roach, if we allow Collin County, if we allow the Collin County courts to try cases like this, anytime in the future, when we have a situation like this, they can try a case like this again and get away with it. And we don't want that in America. We don't want that at all.
Okay, Selena. So let me ask you this real quick.
Mhm.
During the actual trial, the mother of Austin and Hunter, she would often break out crying and outbursts because of the situation, obviously, with her son.
Mhm.
Was there any of that today when sensitive matters came up?
I think there was some points where I'm not gonna say it was the mother, but it was just people in the room as a whole. Um, there was one point where Worski was questioning Howard, but the way he was questioning him was how he was doing it whenever he questioned the boys when we were there. And he was trying to like direct Howard into responding, basically, if you get what I'm saying.
Leading.
Like,
Okay.
yes, basically, yes. And Russell, I think the little sharp guy, I think his name is Sean. the other attorney and Justin, they all were like, it got really heated and tense up in there where they were objecting because the judge was allowing Worski to basically give testimony and statement into his question. And Judge Chitty, he said, as Carmelo's team was objecting, he said that no, he said, I want to hear, I want to listen. So he told Howard to go on, and Worski said, "Are you well?" Judge Chitty told Howard, if you're finished, you don't have to respond if you don't want to respond. If you don't know the answer, you don't have to say anything. And it was a very interesting question. I can't remember exactly which question it was, but I know it was interesting. But at the point of after the defense side kept objecting, and then Worski ended up saying, "Are you finished?" And at that point, Howard ended up saying yes. And the people that was sitting behind the family, and basically 75% of the people in there was Carmelo supporters. They all went, that's how they went. But
Wow.
given the fact that Howard had stopped right there when we were really trying to find out the answer to this question.
Wow. Calvin, does Worski take the stand? And does he get cross-examined too, or no?
No.
Because I'm sorry to jump in. I know you didn't ask me that, but Russell made a statement today saying that he didn't want them to jump from being prosecutors to actually going up there and basically being advocates.
Exactly.
So
And
he
and
wanted them to stay put.
and I
Thank you.
always and I will tell y'all this based on some of the things that have happened today. And I will and y'all rest assured, I've been knowing Russell Wilson a very, very long time. He is very methodical. I don't think that Mr. Worski is getting the one up on him. Russell knows what he's doing. I trust Russell. Like I said, if I had to appeal a case, and when I do have to appeal a case, he's the person I call. He's appealed a couple of mines that I needed appealed, and he's won a couple of them that I needed appealed. That's why I call him. And so I'm telling you right now, he's a very good attorney. He's very methodical, and he's an upstanding gentleman. I think he's going to do fine. And like I said, Carmelo's in good hands. He's probably in the best hands he could be in. And I hope that that he gets the justice he seeks. And I hope he's able to navigate himself through these tough waters, him and his family.
I do have
All
one
right.
question, if you don't mind. Why isn't it automatically a new hearing when they recuse this privileged racist judge? Even though I don't think that, even though you don't think he's racist.
This is what I tell people, right? What you have to do as an attorney, and this is what you have to do as Carmelo's family, and I always tell people this. I'm real transparent about how stuff is. When you are judging Collin County and it's a Republican county, you gonna take care of the people who put you in there. So if I'm hiring an attorney for my son and I gotta fight for my son, I'm gonna get at least somebody that look like my son. I might get one of them, but I'm gonna get somebody that looks like my son to make sure that I got somebody in there advocating for me, because I always tell people we're all human beings and we're gonna see things a certain way. Black folks gonna see things a certain way. White folks gonna see things a certain way. And we gotta start taking care of ourselves. So I have no illusions about what went on. The people in Collin County are Republicans. If you see what happens down here in Texas, these Republicans are gonna take care of themselves. They are trying to annihilate us down here. They're trying to take away our seats, and they're not being bashful about it. So we got to have enough common sense to know when we send a young man in there to at least have somebody that look like him sitting next to him. So sometimes we have to look at ourselves and how we play this game before we start looking at everybody else, because people are just gonna push out what they know. People gonna push out where they see the world. Those folks out there see the world different from the way we see it. And I'm gonna tell y'all one last thing before we get off here. I have nothing against Collin County, but I live in Dallas County. And I live in Dallas County for a reason. And I'm not playing with y'all, and I told y'all that.
I hear you, but
Go
just
ahead,
to be clear,
Selena.
but just to be clear, hold on. Just,
Let-
I'm so sorry. 1 second. But do you think that him not being him being recused shouldn't be a reason why we get a new trial? Right? You see what I'm saying? The fact that the judge was recused, why shouldn't that be a reason for a new trial? That's what I'm saying.
I think it could be a reason for a new trial, and I think the judge made a grave mistake. I wouldn't have came out and made no comments, but when he came out and made those comments, he made comments that were very slanted toward Austin them, and that wasn't very. I don't think that was smart of him to do, and that's not something that any judge should be doing. A judge should be somebody down the middle. You shouldn't be making comments slanted one way or the other. And typically, when something's still on appeal, I wouldn't have been making any comments at all anyway. So I think he made a big mistake there. And I think number one, that's why they were able to get this hearing and get him recused. Number two, that might get him that might get him a new trial. And it very well could get him a new trial, because what happens is they're going to accuse you of being biased. In your comments, you showed that you were kind of being biased. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to call balls and strikes. And everybody's strike zone is supposed to be the same. And so making those comments were not smart.
Thank you. Thank you so
But
much.
when you know people, but I always tell people, everybody has tendencies. And that particular judge has a tendency to take more control than most other judges take. All of these judges have tendencies, and you got to know them. And he typically will overstep his bounds at times. And he's known to do that. And in this situation, it's probably going to bite him.
All right.
You might be right.
All right, Selena.
I wanted to say that there was kind of like a big change of energy, because Worski made the statement, "This is how we do things in Texas."
I told y'all.
He said that. And it's very shocking that you were saying that, because he said it came out of his mouth in the courtroom today.
Don't tread on me.
Everybody was like, everybody was like, like couldn't believe that he said it. He also made a statement that if he had a shroom, he would have popped one today.
It must be nice. They're comfortable. They're very comfortable, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But me and Mel have had some conversations, and I always tell people, hey man, because I'm down here and I deal with prosecutors from all over the state, and you know what I intentionally do? Sometimes I will go to a podunk county that's 2 or 3 or 4 hours away from here. Y'all know why I do that?
Why?
Because I want to know you never know who you're going to run into. I go to Smith County down in East Texas, where a lot of my people are from. And I'm telling you, sometimes they'll hand it to you down there. Sometimes I'll go to Parker County. Sometimes I'll go down to Houston and try a case. Sometimes I go to these little bitty counties because I want to see how it is down there. You never know who you're going to run into in these little counties, because you want to know how other places do things. But with that being said, there are a lot of prosecutors in Texas that believe that that's how they do things in Texas. But we have to stand up for ourselves, and we have to stand 10 toes down, and we have to fight them. And that's why I said there wouldn't have been a gentleman's agreement. You can get a punch in the mouth. We ain't agreeing to nothing. I ain't shaking your hand. I swing at you.
Exactly.
And you can swing back at me, and then we can shake hands after the fight's over. But we're not shaking hands before.
I agree.
We go to war, we shake hands later on. That's what you got to do. And if you're in there with the judge, and that's another thing I always try to tell people. I know Judge Rose, but guess what? If I'm in there with Carmelo Anthony, I'm gonna piss him off if I have to. I don't care. I'm not scared of him. And if he gets mad at me, so be it. I don't care. I've made judges mad before, but that's not. My job ain't to make them happy. My job is to advocate for my client. And I got to be willing to go for my client. And that's why I always try to tell people, when I was watching that Young Thug trial, when that lawyer said, okay, if you're going to send me to jail, can I be in there with my client? I said, oh my God, hallelujah. That's what I'm down for. Put me in the cell with my guy.
Ryan Steele.
I'm
Ryan
ready to
Steele.
go. I'm ready to go like that. And that's
That's
what you
it.
got to be ready to
That's it.
do.
I love that. I love
You got to
that.
be ready to go. If you got to go, you got to go. So be it.
I love it.
But that's your job. Some lawyers get in there and they'll have a judge that's been sitting on the bench a long time, and you'll act like you're scared of the judge. No, the only thing he can do is hold you in contempt, put you in the hold. I'm from the hood. I've been in a lot worse situations than that. Jail ain't gonna scare me. I probably know some guys in there anyway. I don't care. That matter of fact, you're a defense attorney in there. Hell, they'll probably give you a parade. Why you're supposed to advocate. You're supposed to stand up for your client's rights. So even if the judge doesn't like you, you still have to go in there and do what you got to do. Even if you make the judge mad, still go in there, do what you got to do. That just is what it is. But some lawyers don't do it like that. Forget the gentleman's agreement. We can have a fist fight right now. We shake hands later on.
Exactly.
All right.
But
Very
thank you.
good. Thank you. Selena, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got to get
Thank
up
you,
early
Mel.
in the morning.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Thank you
I
for
was
coming
number
on.
2 this morning.
All
Yeah,
right.
we need to do this again, y'all. I enjoyed this panel. I really enjoyed this panel.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
I
Perhaps
did.
tomorrow we'll have you back on. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Y'all
sir.
have a
Nice
good
to meet
night.
y'all, ladies. Y'all take care.
All right,
You too.
Calvin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Calvin, for coming on. Thank
For
you.
sure.
Selena,
All right.
bye, Kelvin. Yes.
Bye.
All right.
I love
Okay.
it. Yeah, I
Very
was
good.
hearing that everybody has to get up like 3:00 in the morning to get to the courthouse or something like that. I was hearing a lot of
Yeah, I have to get up early. So now we have a next guest who was in the
oh, Lord.
courtroom today. She's coming
You're
up.
muted.
Hey, how are you? Can you
Oh
hear me?
hi.
Yeah, but we
Right,
can't hear.
sure. I
Can
saw
y'all
You can't
hear
hear me?
us? We can't hear y'all.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay,
go
come
out and come back in.
All right.
Sorry.
do it.
All right. So
She
they're
seemed
gonna
like
come
what
back
they were
in.
coming in because I
All
saw
right.
her. I saw her speaking today.
All
I
right.
didn't see
So
Selena. I saw
what
this
did
lady talking earlier
what
today.
did you think in regards to what Selena had to say
I think it was.
about today?
I think she had some amazing firsthand viewpoints on it. I love the fact. I mean, because that's what we always try to do anyway, right? To make sure that people know that we have boots on the ground. We're there. We could see it for ourselves, and we could tell the truth. We don't like to imply anything. We were there. We saw this is what happened, right?
Okay. Can I hear you now? Let's see. Can you hear me?
We can hear you guys.
All right. You guys
Twins.
look
We
like
are.
you're ready to go.
We
Ah,
are. Mel, let me show you this. Look at all
actually,
these notes. You see how thick this is? All these notes that we took.
yes.
Oh, both we get double notes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go. You guys tell us everything you want to.
Okay, so from the start, Mel, from day one, we ended up in the overflow room from day one, but the energy was off from day one because the officer, he came out and he stood there and he said electronic devices, phones, Apple Watches, that's not allowed. And we're not gonna hold it for you. So we suggest you might want to take it to your car, unless you want to trash them. Just like that.
Yeah.
I said, first of all, the delivery was so unprofessional because you could have said, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We do not allow cell phone devices or any kind of electronic devices in the courtroom. We're not allowed to hold them for you. You can take them back to your vehicles, but we are not allowed to hold them for you." And why would you even mention you can trash them? Who want to throw their devices in the trash? What type of stuff was this? I was like, okay, they on one already today, because what was it? What was the professionalism? Like, you just come out here and just talk to people any kind of way from day one? Just talk to people any kind of way. Is this a different line?
Wow, this is something. So tell us what stood out today.
Oh, the Metcalf stood out today. Yeah. Mel, coming from lunch when I first reported with you, what was standing out was Carmelo. Oh, Carmelo, he had these texts in his phone about licking blood from knives. There were some things in his phone. He was enrolled into this program for kids who cannot keep their hands to themselves. He was stalking his girlfriend. All that came out, right? So we left out of there thinking that well, I'm not gonna say we left out of there thinking that Carmelo was a bad person, but when you left out of that session, people had the impression of what really, what they tried to paint a bad picture of him. Basically, they wanted to paint him as, a monster, someone who had malicious intent. Mel, when I tell you, it flipped like an Uno card when we got back in there. When I tell you what they laid out, Mel, was so bad, significant. Immediately when he started to put up the documents, the exhibits from what Austin and Hunter, the allegations against them, the things that the defense attorney knew about, Mike Howard, as well as the prosecution, they knew this, okay? These were the things that were agreed upon that were not to come out, due to this gentleman's agreement. Mel, I want to say this. I was writing so much that I had to look at my hands to see if my rings were too tight because they were cold and turning blue, and my hand was hurting from so much I was writing and trying to keep up. And Russell, he wasn't rushing it, right? He was asking Howard the points on the different, bullet numbers, the different numbers of the incidents that were there, but it was so much you couldn't capture everything. They had in bold writing the incident. Underneath there, it outlined details of the incident. We can go through that with you guys, but I want to tell you that we stopped at 53, okay? 53 incidents. 53 incidents again about Hunter and Austin, and it was pretty straight cut, Mel. There is no over exaggeration. There cannot be. There was no speculation. There was no falseness. It was laid out where you can see these were the aggressors. They definitely had an issue. It's not something that has just started. This is a record from when they were younger. Did I say 10 years old? This started from 10 years old up. It was significant. It's so bad. It was so bad that we left out there saying, if the judge has the power right now to say, let him go, you need to be saying, let him go right now. Let him go. Turn him loose. The volume, when we got out of there, we took a break. The volume of people that were speaking, you could hear all the chatter. Mel is just chatter all through the hallways. People were expressing anger. They were concerned. They felt deceived, Mel, to know that all of this information existed. You guys knew that. I understand you're saying that there were some things against Carmelo Anthony, but when I tell you the things that were in Carmelo's phone, Mel, it was, if I can, give context, I want to say this is, I don't even want to say this. I want to say a sheet of paper. Whatever they found in Carmelo's phone was a sheet of paper compared to this. Wow. It was there was no comparison, Mel. And there was even no question about it. And the things that they saw in his phone, to me, they were not so significant that they would destroy his claim for self-defense, Mel. They were not that significant. They wouldn't have had that much impact on his claim. So I do not understand. And people, it was obvious they did not understand why this agreement was put into place. Why would you ever agree to that? There was nothing that bad in his phone or against him, Mel, that could have ruined him. Nothing. And that's a problem. If we're going to stop and let you guys ask questions if you have questions, but we have the notes for you. Some things that I wasn't able to catch, maybe she was able to catch, Mel, but I'm telling you, the hand was hurting. It's tired.
Well, since you guys wrote the notes, can you hear us?
We can hear you. We can hear you, Mama.
Yes, we would love to hear the most egregious stuff that was said about the Austin. If you guys have the note, I know we had someone earlier. She said it was over 40. You guys are saying over 50. That's
50, 53. We stopped it.
Yes, please. If you could put a few incidents, we would love to hear.
Number one was there's body cam that supports this body cam video. But this is the graffiti, the racist graffiti. Austin said there was graffiti that said KKK, kill all blacks. Where is it? Kill all blacks. Hell. Give me 1 minute. I wrote it down. Hold on. Let me find it for you.
That's
These
why.
kitties, KKK, kill all black people, hail Hitler, and can I say the N word?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And nigger, graffiti. So both Austin and Hunter, and another young man spray painted this. So when it came to who did what part, Austin said that he said KKK kill all blacks. The other guy, I don't know if I can call his name. I'm gonna call him L. L said that he drew the dick. It was a dick, and he drew the dick and said that both Metcalfs drew all of the other information. And Hunter, no, also the L statement was that they took it a little too far. He drew the D. Austin, his statement was, we did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism, basically admitting, what they did. The L guys, the young boys, his mom said, I would rather him learn now than in 5 years and I have to deal with a body bag or something. I don't know what that meant. Yeah, but that's what she said. That was number one. Yeah, that was number two is where Austin sent a text message that he would kill a motherfucker sitting behind him at a track meet. His name starts with an E. He was behind him on the bench talking wild. That's what they use. They call him no. They call him an Edgar. And an Edgar is slang for Hispanic boy. And they said that this Edgar is behind us talking wild. No, the Edgar is slang for youth ghetto Hispanic. That's what Edgar is slang for. And then Austin said,
boy.
Yeah. Who somebody text?
It sounded like that tent was popping that day, right?
Yeah. Somebody text and said, this motherfucker sitting behind us, talking wow. Austin texted him and say, kill that motherfucker.
What? And that's what happened. That's what happened to Carmelo Anthony. What is that? If that's not a clear case of premeditation, that's
Mama
just
Flip. I'm here to tell you from being in that courtroom today what would have happened to Carmelo. They would have killed Carmelo. They would have killed this baby.
Said it.
They were egregious. I don't even understand how that, and I'm not just over exaggerating. I honestly don't understand how their parents slept comfortable around them. I don't understand it.
Not the watermelon felon. Oh,
I don't understand it. A watermelon felon. Yeah.
Oh no.
Can you imagine? I heard that what he did to his mom.
Yeah, he grabbed her around the throat. And then he said he gonna beat the fuck out of his dad and he not gonna do shit about it. Yeah.
Oh God, this is too much for television.
Yeah. Oh, Mel, I also want to point this out because this
Take your time.
Yes,
this is what Howard
show.
Said. All of this is coming out when Howard was on the stand. Howard said, and I quote, Carmelo entered the tent and talked to Edwin Paul. Can I? Because his name.
Go ahead.
Talk
say
to
Eddie. Say Eddie.
Okay, Eddie. Talk to Eddie. After several minutes, Hunter approached Carmelo and Austin joined. All right, so that's establishing right there, Mel.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yes,
that's what I said.
Mel kept on saying that over and over again.
That's what I said. Yeah.
People call Mel a liar so
Listen, hold on. Check this out.
Yes.
I showed everybody in the video, right? Yes. Let me mute you guys up for a minute. This is very important. Okay, let me mute you guys. So, check this out. This is very important. Carmelo came into the tent after the twins. He sat behind Hunter, okay? Hunter's sitting in front of Carmelo. Austin is over to the right. Austin comes over and he attacks Carmelo, but before he touches Carmelo, Hunter is already on Carmelo. He's turned around on his knees on the bench, clearly leaning into Carmelo. Austin comes over. He's the one. I think the knife was for Hunter, the first guy, but Austin ran into it because Hunter was already on him. So that's it. That's all I have to. I'm glad to hear that this is good.
Okay, and number 3 is where Hunter was banned from a teacher's classroom a day before the incident, April 1st, 2025. He was banned from a teacher's classroom because he kept kicking the door, and the teacher banned him. And It's a boy. His name is C. I think they asked him, what happened? Hunter replied, "Fuck that weak ass teacher." Yeah, he said, "No, we not. I'm talking to her. Fuck that weak ass teacher." When he was talking
Oh
to the
my
other,
God.
yeah,
Not the teacher. Not
yeah,
the
teachers.
teacher.
Nobody had authority.
Oh
Mel,
man.
they looked teachers eye to eye and told them, "You fat bitch, you dumb bitch. Fuck you."
What the hell? What are we doing here? What the hell is this? These kids was running the whole county? They were running the whole county? What the hell is happening?
And then
This is too much.
for the mom to try to portray like these kids were innocent when they had their hands around your neck, you should be ashamed, a filthy shame of yourself. You know what you raised. And let me tell you something else. I wanna put some icing on that cake right there I just dropped. One of the things Worski said when he was trying to refer to
What is
Caleb was
that?
that mothers tend to think that their sons don't do anything wrong. But I think you were talking to the lady sitting to the left over there behind you about her sons.
Exactly.
You thought that they did nothing wrong, but we got 53 incidents that say everything that they did was wrong.
This is 10 years.
Ooh, this is more heavier than the Young and the Restless.
Yeah, man. Y'all just keep listening. It got us young and restless. We can't sleep around here for this stuff.
Oh my God, Damien.
Lord have mercy.
They're like, that's crazy. Like
The-
10 years old?
10 years old, they did something. Let us finish reading these to y'all.
Please.
Okay, you got number 4. What is it? Number 4 is where Hunter messages about jumping on the kids at an Independence track meet. At a prior track meet. So Hunter had messages. They were able to recover. And let me tell y'all, some of these things I noticed, it said Cellbrite. That's the device where they can recover the deleted things from your phone. And I don't know if they were deleted. I don't know because I didn't pay attention. I know Cellbrite can, access anything, just download your phone. I don't want to say that they're deleted though, because one of the things that Russell said, or he made reference to, was that they were like a trophy to Austin. He kept these
They had
things.
videos and kept them.
He kept them. There are videos. He kept them like they made him feel powerful. They made him feel a type of way, Mel. So I don't think they were deleted. I think this stuff was actually in his phone. It was in his phone. Yeah, it was in his phone.
God.
One of the things that Worski said though, when he said to Howard, when Howard was on the stand, was that the character evidence or character testimony or whatever would never come into his case. It would never come into his case, in his opinion. So you never had any intention on letting it come in anyway. I don't understand why. Just because he's deceased does not mean that he did not commit anything wrong or even lead up to his own death, Mel. Okay? If it was, I'm gonna tell you something. If it wasn't him, it was gonna be Carmelo.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was gonna be Carmelo.
It was going to be Carmelo. Okay, so hold on. I got some more notes on number
going.
4. Number 4, at this same instance, they say these shitty Indian kids, they call them these shitty indie kids talking, and said, "Let's jump them." Someone said record it, and Hunter said, I got it.
Yeah.
Every black and brown, huh? Every black and brown got something.
Yeah, they don't like those. They don't like those at all. None of them.
They didn't say shitty, did they?
Yeah, they said shitty. They said shitty, Mel. I was trying to write down everything as I saw it. There's another note I put here. Austin and other shot put throwers got in trouble March 22nd with coaches. They were told they would not be going to the district meet to turn in their things. The district meet was the meet of 4/2/2025. So, instead of people cradling these kids and excusing their behavior, whatever they did, well, I think this is when they left the track meet early or something. They weren't as dedicated as they try to make it put. Like, they were so concerned about the tent that day. Oh, this is our property. Nobody should be here. Apparently, you weren't that concerned because you left the track meet when your team players needed you the most. If the coaches had stuck to their penitent and not allow them to be there, then Austin would probably be here. I don't know for how much more longer, because when I tell you that behavior of his, he was on that number. It was only a number of days. I'm telling you, it was only a number of days. But he would have been here if they had stuck to the discipline. Stop cradling them. Stop giving them a pillow to, place down when they bump their head. Let them learn the hard way. Let them learn the hard way. But instead, you excuse their behavior, which Austin said to one of the girls before when he did something in class. I have notes of that, but he told the girl his coach wasn't going to do anything because he was a starter for varsity. He said that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not here anymore. No more
Yeah.
starter. He's no longer.
You guys, we are only at number 6. We're only at number 6. Number 6. Austin, this was a note that they made. They found this will be helpful for the case. Austin followed several fight accounts on social media. You want to guess how many number of accounts that had nothing to do with fights and only fights? Guess how many number of these accounts Austin followed?
50.
50?
50 or more?
What you say, Mel?
50.
You mean regular that didn't? And I'd say 10.
Fighting accounts alone. Fighting accounts.
I would say about 50 or more.
I'd say 75.
75? 300.
Damn.
Fight accounts, 300.
Damn. I didn't even know there were 300 fight accounts.
Me either, Mama Flips. What are you really interested in? That speaks a lot about you.
These boys out of line, boy.
We follow things that grasp our attention, but my goodness, they grasp your attention that much that over 300? Over 300.
We have time to even been watching all of those stuff.
Yes.
Go ahead, ladies. Go ahead.
It's like an obsession. That's what it is to me. If you ask me, in my opinion, it seems like an obsession. And I actually have something, I'm going to go through these notes, but I'm going to say something that's going to put that into context why I say it's like an obsession. I'm going to bring you back to it. Okay, another point. 2 months prior to the incident, this was February 3rd, 2025, Austin used the N word and said, fuck Edwin Parra. And Hunter said, we have 2 words you're going to punt. Yeah. I notated right here, Mel, that the judge is focused on the documents containing the offense.
So let me say this real quick. Right.
Something's going on with your mic.
It's okay. I have to mute them. We always have this problem. So listen, I'm gonna have to show you guys the video, right? But before Austin goes over to run to Carmelo, you can actually see a guy on the left-hand side. He runs over, grabs a guy, and body slams him on the left side. I'm going to argue that that's Eddie and another guy's attacking him, and we're going to hear that in this trial too. So go back and watch the video. I'm going to actually show you guys, before Austin goes at Carmelo, someone goes from the left, grabs a boy, and slams him, and you'll see him on top of him to the left of the screen. I haven't revealed it until you guys said that, but I think Eddie was getting his butt beat too, and he didn't want to say it. But anyway, I'm going to show you later on in the show. Keep going. Sorry.
What you got, number 7? At this point, I notated that the judge was very focused on the documents containing offenses from Metcalf. So he was honed in, Mel. He was reading it. We couldn't, write it all, but he was reading it all. I'm telling you, he was focused. And I think, he absorbed that. I really do think that he took that in, and not with a grain of salt. I think that he took that into consideration. And then number 7, April 1st, 2025, Austin used the N-word in Snapchat group chats.
What? Man.
Yeah, and then I want to say this because I notated this point right here. The file being kept old school, was under Mike Howard's impression that it would not be I want to say filed and published. I want to say, electronically, it wouldn't be added there. They were so concerned about the threats and the high profile nature of this case, they decided they were going to do it old school, right? So with some of the things that Howard, took to the judge's chambers to have filed, he said because it was considered to be old school, he never proceeded to check and see if they were actually being filed and stamped. I wrote that note right there, Mel.
Yeah.
Right.
Judge.
Okay, so I want to pause for just one quick second, guys. I'm just going to mute you real quick. This would take less than a minute or two. All right, I want to show you. What did I just do with it? Give me 1 second. I want to pull this up really quick. Okay, here we go. So check this out. I want to show you real quick here. It doesn't have sound, but check this out. Okay, this has to come down. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, so check out this video real quick. I want to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the tent, okay? Well, this actually starts with the fight. I'm going to show you, basically you have Hunter. So right here in the tent, you have Hunter and you also have Carmelo sitting behind him. This is Austin. This is his being right here, okay? So watch this. Austin goes over. He pushes Carmelo head. You see Carmelo head right here. Comes down. It comes back up. Okay. He's getting stabbed or whatever it is right here. You can see him kind of, you see when a person takes the hit to the belly, you can just see him wincing, right? Now check this out. Now you see Austin falling backwards. Now you're going to see right here. Let's see. Yeah. Right here. Watch when Carmelo runs to the top of the tent. Watch this. Remember, I told you Carmelo's sitting behind him, right? Look at this. Carmelo now appears in the gray top at the top of the tent. Look, that's Carmelo. He has the gray hood on top of his head. You can actually see it. Now you see Hunter standing here because he's sitting in front of Carmelo like I've been telling people for a very long time. But watch this right here. I'm going to back it up. I'm bringing Carmelo back down. Watch you see Hunter swing at Carmelo. Look at this right here. You see him miss right here? Watch this swing at Carmelo. This is Hunter. This Austin is now over. He's over here out the way. Look at this. You see the swing? Look, you see that? You see the arm? See that swing? His whole body. He swings, and then Carmelo appears at the very top. You see that?
Turn it sideways. But then
You
I see a door. You cannot come over here.
See this? Look. He swing. So for them to say that he's not being engaged by two people.
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Mel, if you were talking, we could see the arrow moving, but we couldn't hear anything.
Oh, okay. You couldn't hear me?
Leave and come back.
All right.
Got it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. So anyway, as they come in and out, you can actually see. Let's see here. We have more than one individual engaging with Carmelo at the time. So there you have it. At least for that part. Next, I'm going to show you how another individual is also look like he's getting body slammed at the same time. Okay, they're coming back in now. Let's get them back on the screen. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay, you could go back to your program.
Okay. Where are we? I made this note right here. When the things were being, when the documents were being shown that exposed the behavior of Austin and Hunter, I was looking around the courtroom because I wanted to observe everything so I can take notes, and I couldn't see Jeff and Megan Metcalf. I was looking and I kept looking, Mel. I was leaning forward back, but I couldn't see them, and I was like, "Are they here? Did they leave? Did they know that this was coming up, and did they stay out for this reason? Like, I can't see them." And then I see them finally pop up, and then it's evident to me that, oh, while this evidence is coming out against your sons, you're all leaned down in a crouch. Mm-hmm. Your pride has been, shattered. You lean, both of them at the same time leaned forward like they were just, they were in like OMG.
They weren't at all.
OMG.
They knew.
No, it was like a OMFG moment, like my mother God. Man, I couldn't see them. They were leaning forward out of their seats. Like it was the lean of shame. I want to say that's what it was. The lean of shame, but I notated that. But all right, next incident. What did you capture? Because I captured
October 2023.
Number 9.
Yep.
All right.
They bullied a black student. His name starts with a T.
Yeah.
They bullied a black student in class using racial slurs.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher sent an email that the football players were using the N word, calling another student a black ass hoe, and Brad that the coach would do nothing because he was a
He was a starter on varsity. The kid got picked on a lot in class by other football players. All right. Number 10 was Hunter threatening to hit the cheerleaders. This is the one that came out, the cheerleader email that everybody was trying to figure out, was it real or was it not? It was definitely real.
Not the cheerleaders.
Yeah, the cheerleaders called her a fat bitch and told her his hands were bisexual. In our era, bisexual means, I like them both. Well, I'll take them both, or both are our preference. Both are our preference.
The bisexual P, right?
Yeah, like we don't discriminate, male or female. Jesus. These hands are bisexual. Like they'll get you both, basically.
Wait. You guys talking about the Metcalf boys?
Yeah.
Not the Metcalf boys.
They're gonna grab it. They don't care what.
The Metcalf boys, and let me tell you, the DNA. I know they're twins. Well, we have the same DNA. I don't know if they were identical or not, but when I tell you it was like a split, like there is no one was worse than the other. There was no one worse than the other.
They were in competition.
Yeah, with each other. Like who the baddest of us both? Who's the baddest?
I'm sorry, Omen. Oh my gosh.
They were definitely a replica. What you see with this one, you're gonna get with this one. And they tried to, I find it crazy because in the previous trial, Mel, only the aggressive or some of the information about Austin being the aggressor came out. Nobody mentioned anything about Hunter.
Hunter wasn't in it. Yeah, he wasn't involved. He was the innocent.
Hunter was on interview. This kid and my brother, like he can't talk, but he was suspended from school for 7 years in a row.
Wait a minute, no, 7 years. Stop.
7 years in a row from 2015 to 2022. This boy had been suspended from school 7 years in a row. Yeah.
This is terrible.
Terrible. I'm telling you, Mel.
They have an education? Do they know how to read? That's crazy.
The teacher, let me tell you, I don't know if they know how to read or not, because Austin at some point was trying to explain something to his dad, and his dad couldn't understand him, and Austin got mad because his dad couldn't understand him. He called his dad the N-word. His dad told him that he needed to go him and Hunter needed to take their medication for their ADHD. And that's when he got mad and told his dad, the N-word. Said something with the N-word. Yeah.
Who was actually explaining all this in court?
So Howard. Yeah, Howard was giving all the context to it. Russell had it up on the screen. He was asking him about the incidents, asking to give some, context to it, what was going on here. Howard was able to explain it all. I mean, he explained everything that Russell asked him. There was no confusion, like I don't recall what you're talking about. Oh, no. He knew exactly what they were referring to, and he was able to give us the details and things, even though we couldn't, we weren't speedy, writing. We couldn't capture all the details of what happened in the situations. Remember, I said that they were in bold print, and then you had the details underneath, but Howard definitely knew what was going on. He was able to.
This sounds like the movie Menace to Society.
It's worse than Menace to Society.
Yeah, it's worse. It's much,
and not most kids are like that. Like this.
I think, Mel, this is Menace.
Not like that.
Yeah, this is Menace to Society times 2. I guess
that's evilness.
Yeah.
You have kids who misbehave and stuff like that, but they don't be it's not sexual assault, a combination with racism, a combination with hate, a combination of Heil Hitler. It's a combination. What the hell is that? That's Menace Society is not that. You talk about these are white supremacist hate group kids. That's what they are. They're like little Nazis. That's exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
That's not normal kids. Normal kids don't do all of that.
Right. They have a recording where they got this little black friend and they recording themselves chasing him around, telling him, "Get back here, you little black Jew," or something like that. I got that note up in here too.
Crazy.
A black Jew. Wow. Yeah. So listen, I know you guys have to get up early in the morning. I love this, but I go to court. I go to court. I know what this means. So but I want to have you guys come back on. I want you to get your rest and all that too. So I know you probably haven't eaten or whatever. So we'll have you back on tomorrow. But if you want to just, conclude in any way you want to, I don't want to keep you up too late.
Yeah, what I want to say about this mail is that I understand that there, may be a procedure in place for them to determine, if Carmelo had a fair trial, if he deserves, another trial. And after what was exposed today, after what was published today and made apparent to the public that was not available before, it is clear that Carmelo never received a fair trial. He never received a fair trial, Mel. And even, even though they said that the agreement was put into place, to try and conceal some things or just focus on what happened under the tent, I feel like any reasonable judge, I don't care where you're from, looking at the facts that are placed before you, that were placed before you today, and that will continue to be placed before you, it is evident that if this case had been tried with that evidence, Mel, with all of those allegations and things, if they had been tried without those attorneys coming to some BS agreement about, this gentleman's deal, Carmelo could have and possibly would have. There is no could have and would have. Carmelo would be free. He would be. He would be free. It was looking at this stuff that was put out today was life or death. You did not see Austin and Hunter just taunting people. You have them encouraging other people, kill that motherfucker. Do you understand, Mel? From people just talking, people can't even use their First Amendment right and speak. You know what kids do? Just joke around, or you have so much hatred in you. It's so embedded so deeply that you want to kill that motherfucker. Mel, it was life or death. Okay, it was life or death for Carmelo, and if he had not, reacted at all, then Kayla Anthony would have been the one that was trying to get justice for her son, just like Christine is trying to get justice for her baby. And I'm a staple that.
All right. Well, let's see what your sister has to say.
Yes. Okay.
I actually put a note in here that this right here, I'm gonna end with this. Austin told a church group he was consumed by anger, lust, and addiction. December 9th, 2024. He told the church, they have videos of him flexing in his phone about how angry he is. Mel and Mama Flips. And I'm not just saying this because I wear paper for Carmelo. Something was wrong with those boys. Those were demons. Do you understand me? Those were demons. It's nothing to hear. I've been saying, I was on the show saying, say what you sprayed, boy. Say what you sprayed. There's nothing like putting your eyes on this in black and white in court. That is sad to see Carmelo in there in shackles. It is sad to see them in there fighting for that baby. It would have been him. It would have been Carmelo. And they knew this. Y'all knew this. Y'all had all of this from the start. Y'all know what they are possessed of. It's like they need an exorcism or something.
Lord have mercy.
It's that bad, Mel. We have not gone over. We were just at number 10. Yeah. I have 53. 53, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
We would love to
wow.
Have you guys keep coming in so you could tell us, because I love to hear everything. So we just have a short time, but we
got it. And we definitely got to get up.
I'm going to show you one more thing real quick here.
Okay.
All right. Bear with me for 1 second. Mama Flips, go ahead while I pull this up.
Yes, I want to make sure that you guys tell us your channel, because everyone is asking for your channel. Do you guys have a channel yourselves? Please let us know your channel so people can follow you guys. There's a lot of comments that you guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you. And they agree with you. They always hate on me, but they love y'all. So yes, please share the channel with the group, please.
Mama Flip, we love you. Just to set the record, we believe. Well, I feel like you are strong. You're outspoken, just like we are. I love whatever you put down. We love you. Our channel across TikTok and YouTube is dose _ TikTok is dose, but I'm sorry, YouTube is dose. TikTok is dose _ twins with the Z. So TWINZ. And I want to say this right here. We welcome you guys. You want to come and follow us, that's fine. I want to say this, and I want to make this clear. I fully support coming on here to give Mel the information to speak with you, Mama Flips. But when I tell you that I'm engaged in this Carmelo Anthony trial, not for clicks and bait. I'm not engaged in it for influencer purposes to try and blow up. I'm engaged because I'm a mom sitting behind those parents today. That hurt me. That hurt me to see you can't even reach out and touch this baby when somebody else got their hands on them. It's supposed to be mine. I'm supposed to be hugging them, consoling them, and I can't because what they've done to my child. That hurts. So I see a lot of people in this, and I'm paying attention. They're in it for different reasons. I'm in it because my heart is pure. I'm invested. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Again, we welcome everybody. Anybody that wants to follow us, we're just two down to earth women, young women. Y'all can support us where y'all can. Again, our TikTok is dose_twins with the Z. And our YouTube is what you see here on the screen. It's Dose.
But I don't see
Okay,
your name.
very good. So,
Sorry, Mel, I don't see their name. You're supposed to see it on the screen. When you say Dose, can you spell Dose as DOS?
Yeah, like uno dos, like two.
Okay.
all right. So, I want to show you guys really quickly here what I'm talking about. Okay, so I want to show you that before we're going to see the part here where Austin goes and he attacks Carmelo. You can't make it out in this video when Hunter's turned around. He's also he's bearing down on Carmelo too. And because of the gentleman's deal, that's probably why we don't hear about him being jumped, right? So check this out. I want to show you this here. So now you see Austin here. He's standing here in the middle. Okay. You see this right here to the left? Watch this. There's a boy that looks like he grabbed someone and slams them right here. You see where my cursor is? Watch when I go back. Watch this. And Eddie is sitting right beside Carmelo. Check this out right here. Boom, right there. You see this? A lot of people don't pick up on that. But this boy comes from the left, and he's engaging with a guy over here to the left. Can you guys hear me? So when you get a chance, go back and check this out. You see the boy? You see that? Now he's bearing down. If you look at it carefully, see this? There's all this activity. See, a lot of people thought that was Carmelo being body slammed, but Carmelo is still sitting here. You can still see his head, and Austin attacks him. So the first attack isn't Carmelo, I believe. It's whatever's happening with the guy here to the left. So when you get a chance, go check it out now that I pointed it out to you, okay? Can you guys hear me? Let me unmute you guys. Sorry about that, okay? So in conclusion, I just want to thank you guys. Oh boy, what's happened? I don't know why I can't unmute you here. See if you can unmute it. But if not, okay, there we go. All right, very good. So I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. I think it's very important to have you in the main courtroom. And we're having some feedback. Hold on one second. So it's nice that you guys chose to come on tonight and have this discussion. As you know, I've covered this case in regards to Carmelo Anthony and also Nolan Wells. We didn't get a chance to really delve into him tonight. But keeping these stories out there is very important because we have some real life situations in this world, and we're here to deal with it no matter what people say. All right. They unsubscribe, whatever happens, it happens in life, right? But we're here for justice. Mama Flips, you want to close us out tonight?
Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. I saw you guys. I didn't see the previous speakers, but I saw your live today because I was watching. I don't know which one of you guys was talking about, but I definitely saw you guys talking today and everything like that. And I really appreciate it because I really got everything that I needed just from watching you guys reporting on the ground. And this is exactly what we need because unfortunately, when we talk, right, especially independent media, they don't trust what we're saying because they think that we're just making it up in the air. So that's why it's very important to have us there to tell the story and to come and testify, as the church say, even though I'm not a churchgoer, testify about exactly what's happening. So we really appreciate you. We love the context that you brought into it and stuff like that. And, welcome to the team, and hope to see you a lot more in our shows and covering. Unfortunately, we don't want tragedy like this to happen, but if it does, it's great to have you guys here to tell us what's going on.
Thank you.
Watching from the window as the rain begins to fall. Different streets, but we're walking through it all. You carry your story and I carry mine, but the weight feels the same when we stand in line. And I know we don't look the same, but I hear you calling my name, standing together, watching the world go round, standing together, we won't let it tear us down. Your hands know a language mine never learned, but the fire inside us both still burns. Different colors painted on the same old sky. Every shade is beautiful if you just look twice. And I know we don't sound the same, but I feel you calling my name, standing together, watching the world go round, standing together, we won't let it tear us down, standing together, our differences keep us strong, standing together, this is where we belong. Nobody said it would be easy to see through another man's eyes, but the love that we keep building is worth every compromise. Standing together, watching the world go round, standing together, we won't let it tear us down. Standing together, our differences keep us